Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for continuing to listen to my story. Um, it's kind of like I had gone through so much previously, and every time it's like the universe gives you a little bit of a break, and you think that's kind of it. And then something else major happens, and then you think that's it. And then something else major happens. So the reason why the universe has kind of told me to tell my story so is that you'll be able to understand what's happening to you when you may go through your own journey. Okay. Your journey is not going to be anything like mine, but just to understand some of the things in order to kind of relate. And you may be relating to this if you're kind of going through this now or about to go through this or have gone through this. Okay. So when I left off, I had just moved into a home in Portland, and it was a three-bedroom. It really was a house, beautiful old New England house, and she had set it up very cozy. They had just moved in um, the beginning of October, and so now here I was moving in just before November 1st. After having lived in my, excuse me, lived in my Jeep for like 3.5 months from mid-July to end of October. And it's kind of just like I pushed through, had this kind of schedule of, getting up in the morning and having my coffee at McDonald's and um, going to the gym, taking my shower, then going to work, working all day, and then kind of just finding something to do until it was time for me to go back to Cracker Barrel, who I give a shout out for allowing people to park in their parking lot. Um, I don't know if I mentioned this before too. It's kind of like you see the same people there in the cars, same campers, knowing that these people probably have no permanent residence like me. And so it kind of becomes kind of a community type of thing, even though I didn't have anything to do with anyone on the outside, didn't have any contact with anyone. Um, there was kind of this thing, everybody quiet, at a certain time, you know. Um, there was no loud noise at night or anything like that. Like everybody kind of behaved themselves. So I went ahead that Saturday, had gone to Walmart and got a bunch of things to set up my room. I didn't have a closet in there, so I kind of got one of those, what do you call it? Um, Clothes racks, right? To just hang all my clothes. And what else? Oh, I had got like just a folding table and folding chair because I always needed some kind of a desk. And she had a twin size bed in there already. So I was thankful for that. So I had to get some sheets and just bringing in all my stuff that I had from the car. Oh, I know. I had to go get the stuff that I had in storage out of there, close that account, and I could bring my stuff in from storage. I didn't have a lot in there. It was mostly like my winter clothes and a few other items. So I was able to bring everything into this one room. So it's funny too. when she had, I gotta give her a name because I hate just saying she. You guys don't know who I'm talking about. Let's call her Kate, okay, for now. When Kate had um, contacted me to say, you have the room and everything. I don't know if we talked again. We might have talked again after that. And she says, "Oh, I'm going to this event on Saturday evening if you want to come along with me." And I said, "Oh, no, I probably won't because I have so much to do and, um, unpacking and bringing everything in, and I had to go to the storage and so forth." So she said, "Oh, okay, that's no problem." I said, "I'll take a rain check." Now that's going to play an important part later on, because the thing was, even though she was very spiritual and I was very spiritual, and we figured it would be a good match in that way, I had just been through a really difficult time since the beginning of May. And now here it is, like November 1st, practically. All those months of going through this trial, of just trying to survive, hardly having anything to eat sometimes. And I just wanted a place to kind of rest and go back and forth to work and, start saving up money again so that I was hoping by the next year, um, I don't know, July, August, I could move again into possibly my own place. So that was kind of my focus at this point. I also was going to need a new car. And so there's a lot of things I needed to kind of stack up money for. It's to just go through healing. And that's why I say too, like once you go through something really difficult, the universe always gives you time to heal from it. Um, Gives you like downtime and until the next thing comes. So another thing with Kate was because she was a channeler, kind of as soon as she got into your energy, she would start channeling information about you. Now, that's ethically wrong to do. Sorry, it's not right to do. We all have free will, and unless it's our guides, our spiritual guides, our ancestors who are around us, can't even interfere with our path unless we ask them to. So, even though for me, I may pick up things about someone just being in their energy, I never just read anyone unless they ask me to read them. So, like when I went to psychic school, that was one of the things that my instructor said. It's ethically wrong to read someone without their permission. Thing is, like with me too, is I may say something um, that just having a conversation, but actually that has something to do with that person, something going on with that person. And a lot of times like they may register it and they're like, why would she say that? Like, that's what's been going on with me. And I have no idea. But it's just something that comes out. I'm not purposely reading them in any way. I'm just having a conversation and I'll blurt out something that relates to them. Okay. Anyway, but when she channels, you can see her head goes up and you can see her kind of getting information. And so she kept popping out all these different things about me. And finally I said to her, I said, "You can't do that." I said, that's ethically wrong. I said, we we as readers of people, everyone has free will. And um, you can't just like barge into someone's space. You know what I'm saying? And she said, "Oh, I wasn't reading you." And I'm like, "Yeah, you were," you know? So that was really uncomfortable too. Also, like, I mostly stayed in my room. I just wanted to kind of be by myself, do some healing and stuff. So whenever I would like come out to the kitchen to kind of like, start cooking or whatever, it's kind of like, here she comes. Here she comes. And I guess I don't know if she was lonely. I know she did went out and did things, but her personality was like kind of overwhelming. And um one day she had said to me, she says, "Oh, maybe I'll have you pull some tarot cards on me to help me figure out why I can't keep a man." And I was like really like, whoa, you know, um, like that was like really strange for her to say that. And I said, "Yeah, well, we can do that one day." I get a lot of signs from nature itself. I think that has to do with when um, I was in the outside for that time, that shaking, that ancestral, indigenous um, aspects within me. A part of being in nature is that a lot of times nature, animals, insects, things speak to me. So I had come home one day and she had some guy over, and you could see this, you could tell she was really happy to have this guy there. And she said, "Oh, he's going to be staying overnight." I'm like, "Oh, no problem. We're all adults here." And I think the next day I had got up, and it's getting cold now. Like it's like mid-November. I'm sitting in my room and this mosquito comes by me. And I like hate mosquitoes. Like really, that's like the only insect like, but I guess it was talking to me. I'm like, where does mosquito come? It's freezing. And um later on in the day or the next day, I had gone into the bathroom, and then for the second time, another mosquito. And I'm like, where are these mosquitoes coming from? But then at that point, I said, they're trying to tell me something. And the guy was still over. And I usually try to take the message, okay, if I think about a mosquito, like as much as I don't like mosquitoes, whatever, to me, they're pests, like they don't leave you alone. And so I'm saying to myself, like no mosquito had come around other than this guy just showed up. So maybe in some way she's gonna think that he's like a pest or like she just wants to get rid of him, not knowing later on that it was gonna be the opposite thing once I got to know her better and understand her personality. Um, so now we're coming into late November. And I would come in and say, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" They had gone down to their family's place for Thanksgiving. Have a great time. It's nice to have the place to myself. Oh, I know what happened too. I had bought some fruit and something else, some apples, and I was going to take those to work with me. And it was so nice now to be able to go food shopping, do a full food shopping, and be able to make my food and then, take it to work. So I went to go reach for an apple, and I'm like, where'd all my apples go? And I'm like, you know, and then I forget what else was missing. A couple other things were missing. So after it happened, like two, three, like I ignore somebody eat something, okay, no big deal. I was using her pots and, somebody grabs an apple, okay, no big deal. But then it happened again. And like you purposely had to go into like my drawer in the refrigerator and take that out of there. So I finally said to her, I said, I had like, food in or something. I forget what I had. And I said, it's gone, like it's missing. And she's like, are you sure? And she says, well, you sure you didn't eat it? Like that. And I kind of skimmed over that, you know, because okay, I'm not crazy or dumb or stupid or whatever like that, that I know how many apples I had or whatever it was at that time. So I'm like, I know it's not her. It's the boy that's taking my food. And I'm like, here we go into the situation now, like of having to worry that someone's eating my food, One thing I learned in the shelter, the shelter taught me a lot of good things in a way, is I think I had left something out one day and then it was gone in the refrigerators because there's like 20 something women in there. And I don't know if we had two or three refrigerators. I think maybe there's two refrigerators. And someone said to me, if you don't want anyone to steal your food, wrap it up in like a plastic bag and tie it. People will not go and take anything, unwrap a bag and take something out of it. And that worked. That worked. Nobody messed with my food after I started doing that. So I started putting all my food in bags and tying it and then putting it up into the refrigerator. And I didn't have any more problems after that. But it's still like having to worry, like I move into this place, you know, figuring these people are decent and stuff, come from a good background. And I got people stealing my food. Um, I was getting a little irritated. Like again, I wanted to be there, like, you see people and they come home, hey, how you doing? How was your day? Good to see you, stuff like that. But I didn't really want this kind of like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that type of relationship. Like we live here together, but we have separate lives. So every time I said like I would go into the kitchen to start cooking, like here she comes, oh, like da, 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 and I'm like, so one day she's like, I don't know, are you upset with me or anything? And I'm like, no. She's, oh, because it seemed like were upset. And she starts crying and she's like, oh, like and I'm like, no, like, so she says, people have done this to me before and they stopped talking to me and they stopped, becoming my friends. So it's like ding, ding, ding. Now I get, what type of person I'm dealing with. I understand all the things I've been through with people, the lessons I needed to learn how to deal with people because growing up all through my childhood, my teenage years, all that, I never really learned how to deal with people. I would let people walk over me as a people pleaser, and I was trying to teach myself how to kind of set boundaries and speak up for myself. And it felt like when I would do that, now I'm dealing with a whole different type of person. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there and I will see you in the next one. Okay. Thanks for being here.